Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be going over all the latest draft rumors for the Washington Commanders heading into the 2023 NFL Draft. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also hit that like button and that notification bell as well, and check out Man to Sleep, first link in the description. So we are 3 days away from the 2023 NFL Draft. I'm very, very excited for it, and we're starting to get more and more rumors with the Commanders. I mean, a lot of other teams are getting more rumors, but there's still some rumors with the Washington Commanders when it comes to the draft. So I want to go over some of these, and some of these are going to be right, and some of these might just be smoke screens. So let's talk about the first one, which I don't think is a smoke screen. I think this is right, and it is that Joey Porter Jr. will not be drafted by the Washington Commanders at 16 or probably at all, even if they trade back and he's there. They probably won't take him because he's not a scheme fit for them. He's good at the press man, and we don't do a lot of that here. And yeah, Kime talked about that, and I think that is true. Even though a lot of people are still mocking Joey Porter Jr. to the Commanders, I don't think he will be the pick. You can cross him out. Even in the last couple weeks before Kime officially said this, I thought it wasn't going to happen, and now he, reported this a few days ago, and I agree with it. I don't think it's going to be Joey Porter Jr., and I'm fine with that. I think he's a good player, but he's not necessarily a scheme fit for the Commanders, and there's just other ways they could go. So I think that Deonte Banks is an option, Brian Branch, and then obviously offensive lineman, but Joey Porter Jr. is just not a scheme fit, and yeah, there's other players they could go after. He's probably going to be a good player in this league, but just not for the Washington Commanders. So that's the one that I feel very confident about. That's not just a rumor. I think it is true. And now let's get into Ben Standig. So on his podcast, and I believe he talked about this on Kime's podcast as well, he said on his most likely candidates to be picked at 16, he said Darnell Wright is my odds-on favorite right now if he's on the board. And that's what I think the Commanders will draft, will be Darnell Wright. That's what I'm leaning right now. He says others were Brian Branch, Luke Van Ness, Broderick Jones, and cornerback Emmanuel Forbes. So interesting board right there to have Emmanuel Forbes there, which I like. I think he's going to be a good player, but not at 16. I think that's too early. I think drafting Emmanuel Forbes at 16 would be kind of the equivalent of drafting Jamin Davis at wherever, 19 that they drafted him. He was projected to be late 20s to early second round, and that's kind of where Emmanuel Forbes is mocked right now. Deonte Banks, on the other hand, if they took him at 16, I would be happy with that, but kind of from what I've been hearing and just reading about, and the sense I've gotten is I think they want to go O-line this in the first round, because O-line, it's not like that it's not deep, but cornerback, this class is pretty deep. There's a lot of good options for cornerback / safety in the second round, or late first or second round. Some of these guys might not be there where the Commanders pick, but like DJ Turner, Emmanuel Forbes, you got Jartavius Martin out of Illinois. You got why am I blanking on his name? The Utah cornerback that's kind of a nickel. There's a lot of Cam Smith. There's a lot of different cornerback options that the Commanders could go after. Keely Ringo as well. Not necessarily in the first, but in the second. So if they wanted to go O-line in the first and then corner in the second, it would really work out. So that is something to consider for sure. Out of these names, Broderick Jones, he's kind of going up the board a little bit. He might not be there, but if they take him or Darnell Wright, I'll be all right with the pick. Will I be ecstatic? No, but I'll probably give it like a B grade. If they traded back and got Darnell Wright or Broderick Jones, which is going to be hard to do, but let's say they did that, I'm giving it an A minus, because you got a player that I would have been happy with. Like a B is a solid grade, but you also get additional assets. That is the dream scenario for me. The dream realistic scenario is trading back and still getting one of these players that I'm about to name. Deonte Banks, Brian Branch, Broderick Jones, and Darnell Wright. If you get any of those guys trading back, that's a really good spot to be in. And obviously if Devin Witherspoon's somehow there, Paris Johnson, or Peter Skornowski out of Northwestern, then you take them. But those guys probably all going in the top 10, maybe top 12. So if one of them starts sliding, to 11, 12, 13, that's when you maybe, you're able to trade up if you really want to get one of those guys. And in that spot, I would not mind them. Lucas Van Ness, do not want them to take him at all. No. Nothing against the player, but I don't want him, Miles Murphy, Nolan Smith, any of those guys. We do not need an edge rusher at 17. I've talked about it a ton. No. That's the worst case scenario for me. If we take an edge, worst case realistic scenario is taking an edge rusher at 16. Do not do it. Do not do it. It just, for me, does not make sense. If you want to do it in the 3rd round with that 97th overall pick, okay. Or even if you trade back and get another 3rd round pick and it's a little bit higher, I'm fine with it. 2nd round, probably not. But if starting at that 97th pick, I'll be happy with an edge rusher. But before that, I think it's too early at a position where you already got 2 first-round picks there, and you don't want your first-round pick this year playing like 25% of snaps. It does not make sense to me. There's other positions. If you're drafting edge, you're looking for the future in the 1st round. It's just not necessarily where you go when you have holes right now that you need to fill that, are going to be holes now and in the future, like offensive line, like cornerback. You can even throw, nickel in there, Buffalo nickel, tight ends that are holes now. I mean, edge rusher, again, even in the 2nd, I'm still not going to love it, but if someone with really good value is there in the 2nd, okay. But 1st round is just way too early for me to draft an edge rusher. Also, guys, huge shout out to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. Once again, they're a sleep mask company that makes amazing sleep masks, a bunch of different types, some that can change the temperature so you can sleep at the temperature that you desire. Also, some with, sound systems and speakers so you can listen to what you want, when you're going to bed, and something to wake you up. And I've been using one for the last couple weeks, and it's been really helpful for me, and I've gotten some great sleep. So make sure you guys check them out and use code HTTC for 10% off. And lastly, real quick, we'll talk about Brian Branch. I think it would be an okay pick at 16. I like the player. He can play Buffalo nickel for you. He can play in the slot for you at cornerback, can play safety if needed as well. I just think he's a really solid player and would fit what the Commanders need at on defense. Just 16 might be a little bit too early for him, but I'm fine with it. Same thing with Broderick Jones or Darnell Wright. I'm good with them at 16, and Deonte Banks. But if you can trade back and get him, I would love it. Emmanuel Forbes, like the player, just not at 16. Moving on to the next couple rumors. Hendon Hooker, the rumor is he's probably going to be a 1st-round pick. The Commanders reportedly really like him as well. Well, I'm not taking him in the 1st. If we take him in the 1st, that's awful. I mean, it's not happening. We are not taking Hendon Hooker in the 1st round. Knock on wood. Hopefully it does not happen. But in the 2nd round, if he's there, maybe they take him. In the 3rd round, if he's somehow there, they would take him. But again, it's not happening. John Keim has talked about this, so it's not just like random, guys on Twitter. Like Keim's talked about this. Like they would, if he's there in the 2nd or 3rd round, it would tempt them, and they possibly could do it. But don't think they're going to trade back into the 1st round and get him, and I just don't see him as a possibility to the Commanders, because I think someone's going to grab him in the 1st or early 2nd, like maybe the Vikings and a couple other teams. So he'll probably go 1st, early 2nd, and I don't think we need to draft a project cube. Not even a project, but he's going to be out for his 1st season, so he's already 25, going to be 26. And I just want to see what we have and how, and if we get a new regime, let them pick the new QB. So, and that's if Sam Howell doesn't work out. Next one, Jordan Reed said this, and a couple other people as well, that the Commanders are high on Keely Ringo coming into the 2022 season. He was viewed as a potential 1st-round pick in the top corner in the class. Now he's going to be in round 2. So if they draft, let's say, Darnell Wright in the 1st, whether it's a trade back or at 16, and draft Keely Ringo in the 2nd, I would really like that. He's going to be, probably his range is like 29 to 45 maybe. I don't know. He's probably not going to be there where we pick. If we want to trade up a few spots, I'm with it. So yeah, Keely Ringo, really talented player. Had a little bit of a disappointing year this year. Had very inconsistent tape, but he's got the length you want, the size, and he's got good speed as well. So he's got the tools. He has to put it all together, and that's up to the coaches and him. This going into the NFL. So that's another rumor for the Washington Commanders. And let's see. And the Aaron Rodgers trade got done, and they will be playing the Jets this year. So interesting right there for sure. And some other random players. Commanders have expressed interest in Ball State cornerback Amechi Uzodima the second, and ECU linebacker Miles Berry. So interesting right there. Kind of a lower tier players. Probably going to go on, maybe day 3? Day 3 is what I would say. And then Georgetown receiver Joshua Thomas has received interest from the Commanders among several other teams. So interesting right there as well. So you guys can see these are the main draft rumors. And then Kyle today randomly just put out something about Deonte Banks. He says, don't know where I'll end up, but I like how Maryland cornerback Deonte Banks competes. Never shied away from press when facing Marvin Harrison. Physical dude, obviously a deep cornerback class. Commanders could use another cornerback. Will be semi 16, but also beyond the first, who will be enticing. So don't know if that's just him putting out randomly, just to have it out there that he liked Deonte Banks, or if it's kind of hinting maybe the Commanders want him. I think his prediction will be out tomorrow, but he also put his prediction out on that they recorded it, the ESPN mock draft, on Friday. So things could change from Friday to Tuesday. So I'm interested to see who he has the Commanders picking. For me, it's Darnell Wright. But if they trade back, everything changes. It could be Anton Harrison. There are some rumors that they're interested in him. That's another kind of rumor. There's other positions, Don Kincaid as well. Like, they could draft him. There are so many different ways they could go, guys. There's like 15 different players they could go. So it's going to be very interesting. Could be some madness there on draft night. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it, and peace.